Capturing 360 photos using no turntable. In this sample, we are working with this Persian column that is about 10 inches in height, and we're planning to capture 360 photo of it without any turntable. There are two ways you can capture 360 with no turntable. One is for smaller objects like this, where you can put the objects and turn it. In that case, we'll still use turntable option, even though that we're not having turntable, or you could use time lapse as well. We'll go over the time-lapse option and its benefit once we explain this option first. But for this option, I will adjust the light. I will decide how many frames I would like to have. For example, I decide 30 for this one. You could use anything between 24 to 48. Anything above 30 is in our paid plan. And I will see I need about 3 seconds every time that I want to move the object. So I'll use about 90 seconds. It is very important to have a stable phone, and you either need to have a tripod with an accessory that holds a phone, or if you don't have that, we have a video that shows how to create your phone stand using any paper cup, and you can watch that video. Once we have our phone stable, we choose our time frame in the seconds, then we will push the button. Every time that we hear the shutter voice, I will turn my object slightly. And because I use these guidelines to make sure that it's staying around the same place and I'm not moving it out of what it should be. So this 3 seconds give me a chance to move the object, and it works very well for this object and the speed of my photography. So it could be different for you. We continue the process until we capture the 100% or all the 30 frames. If it is a wall mount, it doesn't have to be 360. So you could use this 30 frames or 24 seconds to cover only portion of the artifacts. Could be 90 degree of that or 180 degree of it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a full 360. So once I'm complete with my capture, I'll review it. As you see, I'm very happy with the result for now. I'll press next. I'll adjust my cropping. I do have an option to do more edits here, but for now, I will just save it. Wait for the upload to be complete. Once the upload process is complete, I can view my model here. Zoom in, it will automatically load the higher quality picture. I could edit it here, add information such as name, description. I can assign a URL so it gets a backlink. I can add information. So these are what I added as the fields, which I could simply delete them. So you could add other custom fields. Example, available number, then we can put 6. We can add more information. In the assign URL, you could put the URL where you're selling the product or in your website where people can even get more information. Here you can add tags. We automatically add the username and some general information about the user. Here we can adjust it. So for example, I'm trying to remove the background. So what I'll do that by increasing the contrast. And I look at it to see how it looks from different angles. Also increase a little bit sharpness so I can see more details, hopefully. And I'll play with tone, which I think the way I had it is good. Once I'm happy with the result, then I press here. You can also use filters, apply different filters, for example, gray, different colors, see how it looks, and I stay with the normal. If for any reason you want to control how much of your photo is seen, you can do it in trim section. So you could literally remove the frames that you don't want people to see, so it gets limited to, let's say, a certain angle, or you could bring it all the way back. If your capture was a complete 360, then you have an option to turn on loop. What loop does, once it goes to the last frame, it starts again from the beginning. So it gives you an option to have a sort of an infinite loop. We don't need any of these in this specific capture, but that's an option you can use. You could also do further croppings if you need to. You could turn the object in case it wasn't properly done in the first place. You could also cut it in any specific aspect ratio. Once you're happy with the results, then you press crop, and it will crop it if you need it to crop. Otherwise, if you're happy with the result that we're seeing here, we press save, and the process of saving will begin. So once the upload process is finalized, we can view it here again, the complete model, and we could decide to share it by making it first public to social platforms, email it to someone, Instagram. We could generate GIF, video, or simply embed to our website. You can also edit it again if needed, or add or remove information. The second way of capturing is using time-lapse. So the time-lapse gives us the ability, it's mainly used for larger items, but you could also use them for smaller items when you need a higher quality. So here I change it to telephoto, and the difference is that I choose the 30 frame. The main difference between the time-lapse and turntable is that in the turntables you get all these 30 shots happening automatically and giving you a fixed amount of time to do the capture, like what you saw before. So if you're doing alone capturing, so that might be a good option. If you have the object in front of you, very close to you, like what we are doing here, or you're two people that can't capture, the time frame might become better, and the main advantage is that you have a better and more control over what you're doing. Once you capture your first capture, the system will give you a silhouette of what you captured before. So once you go here and move it a little bit, I could actually adjust the opacity to see how it looks like. So what it does, it gives me the option to try to stay in track with it, especially if you have objects that are in a special shape. For example, they're wider than taller, so it would be hard to keep them all are center. So time frame might be a better option. But the system, as you see, will wait for me to do the next capture. Once I do the next capture, then again, it gives me the silhouette of my previous capture, and then I can keep going. If you have a large object that will take you time to turn it, or if you are going around an object to exactly kind of mimic the same thing, this will give you a great view. But at the end of the day, I will give you the exact same result. But to just show you how it will work, I will complete the process. So now that I've completed the capture, as you see, I can view it here. Press next, do the cropping, and press save. And from here on, it's the same process that I explained before. On the sample, we'll be capturing 360 photo of this beautiful Volkswagen car. And what I would do the first is I find the widest section, which is looking at the car from the side. I make sure I have everything in frame. Once I'm comfortable, I'll set up my resolution. I'll set up my number of frames. I'll do 48 to get the maximum quality. And once the resolution is set, the numbers is good, I'll start capturing the photos. So as I move forward, I will make sure that I kind of line up using the overlap or the ghost image that I'll see from the previous one. I'll make sure that I have them overlap properly, and we'll move in to the next and to the next until I finish it from all angles. The best would be to try to keep your distance from the car, so that, or from whatever the elements is, so you can kind of going around a circle as you're capturing your photos. And once I come back to the same where I left off, that will complete my capture. Once I'm completed the capture, and once the file is uploaded, I can come to the page and I will see it from different angles. I could move the finger around, I could turn the phone and see it from a better angle, and here I could also zoom in. As you'll see, our platform captures with a very good high quality and uploads the high quality version as we need to see different sections of the car.